This is the Ukrainian village of Nizhny Siroghozy in the occupied Kherson region in October 2022 and in March 2023. The new lines in the fields are rows of Russian fortifications built in anticipation of a counteroffensive by Ukraine. While Kyiv has been training its troops to use Western weapons, Russia has been building some of the most extensive defensive lines seen anywhere in the world in decades, according to Western intelligence.
Только сумасшедшим надо, чтобы пойти на такие достаточно мощные укрепления.
But military analysts who spoke to the Wall Street Journal say they're skeptical of the effectiveness of these defenses. The journal analyzed satellite images and videos from Russian media to understand what Moscow's preparations could mean for Ukraine. Since the start of the invasion, Russia has been digging along the 900-mile front line and even on its own territory. Much of the work is focused on the occupied areas of the Zaporizhzhia and Kherson regions, according to data collected by a satellite image analyst. British intelligence say Russia has built 75 miles of defensive lines in Zaporizhzhia. This hints at where Russia expects to be attacked by Ukraine, and many Western analysts agree that these territories could be the main targets of Ukraine's counteroffensive. So here's what Russia has been building. The first layer of defense shown in many satellite images is the anti-tank ditch. The obstacle is meant to be too wide for a tank to cross, restricting an enemy's ability to maneuver and funnel their forces into areas that make them more vulnerable to attack. Next are rows of concrete blocks called Dragon's Teeth. They form a barrier that makes it difficult for heavy vehicles to pass through. And the third line is a trench. This is the most common type of defensive work and the easiest to construct. Russian forces dug many trenches along roads, junctions and bridges, and even on the beaches of Crimea. Most of them were built in a zigzag or angular pattern. This limits sight lines for the enemy and offers additional protection from shell fragments coming from the side. And Ukrainian forces are likely to face further traps. Military analysts believe landmines have also been hidden between defensive lines. Ukraine's and Russia's ministries of defense didn't respond to our request for comments on the significance of Moscow's fortification efforts. Some military experts say these defense systems don't necessarily pose a major threat to the Ukrainians. They say whether the fortifications are effective would depend on the number of Russian troops defending them. And if Ukraine attacks defensive lines that aren't sufficiently protected, the Ukrainians will be able to bypass the obstacles with Western Challenger and Leopard battle tanks. Experts say that, in the end, intelligence on the position of Russian troops will be key to Ukraine's counteroffensive, and whether they can force Russia to concentrate troops in the wrong place and leave defensive lines exposed.